think a lot of people think that leadership is innate, where either you are a leader or you're not. People also think that there's some personality trait that you must have to be a leader. Leadership is something like anything else. It can be learned, it can be trained, it can be practiced. It requires a lot of failure, it requires a lot of learning, a lot of reading, a lot of going to classes, taking training, all those things.
Get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
If you start something, you got to finish it. I don't care what it is and how many obstacles are in the way.
I was really, really nervous, a little scared, but mostly excited.
Fight that urge. Push for more. Raise your voice.
Hi, my name is Lisa Henninger.
Hello, my name is Lisa Henninger. And hello, my name is Lisa Henninger.
And I'm an Area Property Officer with GSA.
And I'm an Area Property Officer with GSA. And I'm an Area Property Officer with GSA.
I'm also a student in the Executive Leadership Program with Graduate School USA.
I am also a student in the Executive Leadership Program with Graduate School USA. I'm also a student in the Executive Leadership Program with Graduate School USA. Hello, everyone. Throughout history, there have been countless leaders who have navigated complex situations and achieved remarkable accomplishments. Their stories provide leadership styles and approaches that are applicable today. This is the foundation of our group's project, to determine a deeper understanding for strategies in leading people. The opportunity to study the lives of the leaders before us offer the ability to see the course of history and how it was shaped. From this, we can extract leadership principles and strategies to develop our own leadership styles and capabilities. Our team project's objective is to examine the leadership styles of 6 historic leaders as outlined by Henry Kissinger's book, Leadership: 6 Studies in World Strategy. Henry Kissinger was predominantly known for his role as a political foreign policy advisor and had personal encounters with each of the historical leaders being discussed today. During our team project, Mr. Kissinger passed away on November 29th of 2023 at 100 years old. All right. Hello everyone, my name is Lisa Henninger and I will be presenting on the historical figure Anwar Sadat. He was more than simply the president of Egypt or even a Nobel Peace Prize awardee, but a complicated man with a complicated past. He was born on Christmas Day in 1918. Mohammed Anwar al-Sadat emerged in the British rule of Egypt. His journey began with enlisting in the Royal Military Academy, where he met the future president of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser. United by the Muslim Brotherhood, they founded the Free Officers. Then Sadat served in World War II, when his alignment with the Nazis to expel British control over Egypt resulted in his imprisonment in 1942. 2 years later, his freedom was short-lived. He returned to imprisonment after his involvement with the assassination of the prominent pro-British politician and finance minister, Amin Osman. A military coup set up the trajectory for Nasser to become president and for Anwar Sadat to be vice president. They ruled Egypt from 1956 to 1970 upon Nasser's death. With Anwar Sadat ascending to presidency, many, to even include the United States CIA, were skeptical that he would even survive his first 6 months without being overthrown. To everyone's surprise, he successfully navigated the political landscape and pushed Egypt into a new direction. On October 6, 1973, President Sadat orchestrated Egypt to a surprise attack on the holiest day for Judaism. This move casted Sadat as a national hero in Egypt and earned him acclamations across the Arab world. However, the economic pressure prompted the United States to reassess their involvement with Egypt, advocating for a ceasefire. Sadat strategically sought alliance with the United States, recognizing that there was potential for fostering Egypt's interests. His bold 1977 journey to Jerusalem, extending that olive branch to their prime minister, began the process for the historical peace treaty. In 1978, peace negotiations brokered by U.S. President Jimmy Carter led to a shared Nobel Peace Prize with President Sadat and Israel's prime minister. Although it was celebrated by Arabs worldwide, the Israel-Egypt peace treaty did spark many debates. The diplomatic recognition found support among Egyptians, but faced resistance from groups like the Muslim Brotherhood. They considered Sadat's U.S. alignment as a betrayal. Tragically, Sadat's pursuit of peace further isolated him from the Arab world, and then it contributed to his assassination. On October 6, 1981, Sadat attended a military parade honoring his historical battle in 1973, when a military truck stopped in front of him, first attacking with explosives, then firing the bullet that ended his life at age 63. The date that was once solidifying him as a leader was now the same date that ended his leadership reign. Peace in the Middle East. Even today seems doubtful for cultures who have fought for centuries. But history does have a strange way of repeating itself. On October 6, 2023, the 50th anniversary of Anwar Sadat's attack on Israel, Egypt once again attacked Jerusalem on their holiest day. While the outcomes of attempt for peace may seem unsuccessful, I ask you to focus on his strategy of transcendence and how that leadership lesson is still valuable. Despite his end, Sadat's leadership demonstrated his willingness to chart a different course for Egypt. His strategy of transcendence to collaborate with the United States over a pan-Arab nationalism was a calculated risk he deemed necessary for Egypt's survival. He risked stepping on Israeli soil in attempts for a mutually beneficial peace treaty that ultimately cost him his life. Anwar Sadat's legacy remains a subject of both reverence and controversy. His complex impact on the Middle East and the world is a testament to his leadership capacity. Whether you agree or disagree with his actions, Anwar Sadat attempted to transcend all expectations and efforts to lead Egypt to what he believed was a brighter future.
Oh, one question in the back.
I just got a question. When you all picked the leaders, I noticed that most of them was foreign. Was that by strategy or
So
you just didn't find enough in America?
No, there was the leaders were already selected by Henry Kissinger in his book.
Okay.
So we had 6 of them to choose from. You know, funny enough, I was actually the first one to lead it. And these guys were laughing because about halfway through the project, I had to be, talked off the edge. I'm like, guys, we cannot do this. He's not a good leader. He's a bad person, And they were like, well, let's just focus on the lesson in leadership. Even bad leaders have lessons to teach us. So, I had a historical figure that probably had the most activity during the last 9 months. Kissinger passed away. We obviously had the invasion into Israel again. And it was like, wow, I would have never known about any of these things had I not actually done this project, though. But, so they were already kind of pre-selected. We went ahead and kind of picked our own. When I looked at it and I did a quick Google search, I was like, oh, Egyptian president, Nobel Peace Prize winner? No problem, right? Then I started doing the research and reading the book, and I'm like, whoa, this is getting pretty deep. Like, he assassinated people, he murdered people. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna, but I think we all can say conclusively that after we had our figure, we did have kind of a newfound understanding of their leadership. History, there's also kind of like a perception that's delivered to everyone, right? Even Henry Kissinger, for example, saw as a very valuable foreign policy advisor until what? He dies. And then if you look him up now, there's a lot of negative media out there about him. So it can be very, very influential depending on who's reporting, what's going on in the world. So it definitely gave us all a very, unique perspective of these leaders.
maybe you can comment on my comment. Okay. So in conclusions, that sentence that it is leadership is not inherent, it is nurtured. I believe that somehow something is missing there because it is not 100% nurtured. The person had to have some innate qualities or some fire inside the belly to be nurtured to become the leader.
Yeah, but I think
That's it.
yeah, well, that's what Kissinger's whole purpose of the book, right, was that these people came from various different backgrounds, sometimes poor backgrounds. Mine came from having a prior, assassination imprisonment to somehow becoming president. How do you make that kind of leap? And part of that is these strategies that he identified. With following those strategies, they were still able to rise to leadership. It may not be something they naturally had. It may have been something for the people who were around them who kind of provided them that guidance, right, to get to that position. But they followed a very strategic plan. Like Anwar Sadat, he may not have been seen as such a great leader had he not followed that strategy of transcendence and saying, hey, I'm gonna step outside the box, I'm gonna do something that is unreachable, and that's how I'm gonna solidify myself as a leader. And then it's kind of repetitive for different strategies.
Right.
I just want to commend you all for taking that route because those gentlemen and Margaret Thatcher, those people, a good majority of them were pretty controversial.
Yes.
Right? And then to present those leaders, foreign leaders from other countries today, and not U.S. leaders, that's another risk. And that trait that you talk about, the courage to disobey, going against the status quo. And I think that you all did a fantastic job doing that. I just wanted to share that.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, fellow graduates, and distinguished faculty. As I stand before you today, at the threshold of completing our executive leadership program, I am filled with a mix of emotions. These past several months have been a whirlwind of transformative experiences, challenging projects, and profound realizations about our capabilities as leaders. When we began this journey, the daunting task of meeting the program requirements seemed overwhelming. Yet, as we approach the end of this chapter, I'm filled with both a sense of disappointment that is coming to a close and an overwhelming sense of pride in how far we've come. I discovered during the 360 leadership inventory feedback a personal need for growth in taking calculated risks. As a recovering perfectionist and habitual overachiever, I have always shied away from taking risks, unless success was guaranteed. The fear of falling short or not living up to other people's expectations often left me stagnant in reaching my full potential. As someone who once let fear dictate my actions, this program has been a catalyst for learning that true growth lies in embracing uncertainty. One of the most significant highlights of this journey has been the opportunity to engage in executive interviews. During orientation, when the interview requirements were revealed, I felt compelled to the assignment, despite never having conducted interviews of this magnitude before. The unique nature of the opportunity motivated me to extend my capabilities. Personally, this journey has been more than just trying to meet the program requirements. From the remarkable conversation with the grandmother of Juneteenth, Opal Lees, to the privilege of interviewing a political appointee for my agency, FAFSA Commissioner Sunny Hashmi, these encounters have had a profound impact on shaping me as a leader. From Miss Opal Lee, I learned about her journey from transforming Juneteenth from a personal tragedy to being the federal celebrated holiday. During our discussion, she shared the building plans for the National Juneteenth Museum in Fort Worth, opening June of 2025, none other than on Juneteenth. During our discussion, she shared these beautiful design plans and also her hopes for the museum of being more grand than the Smithsonian. So watch out, DC. Miss Opal's drive, even at 97 years old, I have no doubt that it will be exactly that. Mr. Sunny Hashmi shared his analogy of having leadership North Stars to guide us in our leadership journey. The road he personally followed encountered obstacles, and he hopes that we can learn from those obstacles to have a smoother path. Mr. Hashmi recently announced that for the second time in his career, he has been selected for the prestigious award of the Fed 100, which I know because we're friends on LinkedIn. The self-proclaimed computer nerd and introvert, who didn't have what we consider traditional leadership traits, is now for the second time being recognized by the federal government as one of the most effective leaders. So never let anyone tell you that you don't fit the mold for being a true leader. These interviews, along with the other leaders I had the honor of speaking with, not only provided me valuable insight, but through creating YouTube videos and crafting articles, I was able to document these encounters and share these experiences with so many others. Looking back, the mere thought of passing up these opportunities for the comfort of playing it safe seems inconceivable. The recurring theme of getting comfortable with being uncomfortable echoed from the first day of orientation with Adrian Rios to my final executive interview with Army Commander Colonel Bounder. Venturing into the realm of discomfort, stepping into the unknown, initially appears unbearable. Stepping into the unknown has proven rewarding for me and reminds me of the Christine Cain's inspiring words. Sometimes when you are in a dark place, you think that you have been buried, but you've actually been planted. Just as a seed requires darkness to flourish, embracing discomfort shows us that the richest growth arises from challenging terrain. As we move forward from this program, let us give ourselves permission to reach far and wide, knowing that growth is not just an endeavor, but a fundamental truth. And not a single one of us are here today and done it alone. I want to thank my supervisors that provided me the soil to nourish my leadership development. To the senior leadership who provided me the water to quench my thirst for learning. To my mentor and teams for providing me the light and warmth of encouragement. And to the real keys, a true story of 6 strangers selected for a learning team to have their lives change and find out what leadership is like when it gets real. Okay, that's a different program, but I think you guys get it. Each member has brought unique skills, contributions, and support that fostered unexpected connections, which is truly one of the most rewarding aspects of this program. From bonding over the struggles of potty training, to celebrating the weddings of not only our own, but our children, to giving each other grace when we were not at our best. Our team project may have been lessons from historical leaders, but the greatest lessons I received were from the leaders within our own circle. To my fellow graduates, let us continue to inspire greatness in ourselves and to those around us as we embark on this next chapter of our leadership journey. Congratulations in completing this milestone as a leader. Thank
I don't want to follow that.